Hello everyone. Now let us discuss regarding economy of pt365 updated part 2. I'll share an entire video of all the subjects separately, but as of now I'm sharing the video subject wise. Okay, let's get started. First one is direct benefit transfer. Okay, regarding the direct benefit transfer, so this DBT was launched in the year 2013. So recently, there is a news that India saved nearly $27 billion by uh, by through the implementation of the DBT scheme. That's it. So DBTs for direct benefit transfers, is Aadhaar mandatory? No, Aadhaar is not mandatory, and that's it. It is placed under the Cabinet Secretariat since 2015, and types of DBTs: cash transfer and kind transfer. Kind transfer is like through goods or services at free of cost, and cash transfer is by paying through cash. And different schemes are like PAHAL, midday meals, MG Narega, National Security, Social Assistance Scheme, midday meal scheme, PDS, subsidy on fertilizers, etc. are all part of DBT schemes. Next, key terms and concepts in the growth and development. Regarding the growth and development, Hindu growth rate is nothing but it was this stagnant growth rate of 3.5 to 4%, which was prevalent in our country during the 1980s period, and it was first coined by Raj Krishna, an Indian economist. So very low rate of GDP growth rate is termed as Hindu growth rate, usually 3.5 to 4%. Next, multiple indicator survey. Multiple indicator survey is carried out by National Sample Survey Office, and it collects information regarding the SDG indicators and non-migration. Okay, next, K-shape recovery. K-shape recovery is nothing but this. See, you can see this shape, K-shape. Earlier it was like this, and now it became so. In K-shape recovery, few entities tend to recover, perform well, whereas other entities perform low. So this can be seen post COVID-19. So few industries like technology, retail services, software services performed well, and they are seeing this growth. Other industries like hospitality, travel, entertainment, services sector are not seeing that recovery. Next, fiscal policy regarding this direct tax. So because of the introduction of the new tracking features, so the tax base got widened. Okay, the tax base, IT income tax base got widened. So first of all, CBD, central board income tax comes under direct tax. Okay, which body looks after the direct taxes? Central board of direct taxes. Central board of direct taxes early came into existence in the year 1964. Earlier it was under Central Board of Revenue, and the Central Board of Revenue came through an act of Central Board of Revenue Act 1963. Okay, so it deals with the matter of direct taxes, and it consists of chairman and 6 members, and it is associated with the Department of Revenue of Ministry of Finance. So the tax base got widened. Tax base is the total value of the all assets, income, and the economic activity that can be taxed by taxing authority. Okay, so usually the government tax proceeds are also increasing, the tax revenue is increasing. So direct tax is nothing but it is a progressive tax. So direct tax is a tax where the incidence and the impact of the taxation falls on the same entity. Okay, like for example, income tax. If you see income tax, it is paid by you, and the burden is also falling on you. Okay, that is that is direct tax. So direct tax collections in India. So when we look into direct tax and indirect tax collections, so the amount of direct taxes collected is more than that of the indirect taxes collected. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. And also, India recorded last year a highest tax to GDP growth rate of 11.7%. Tax to GDP growth rate is number of amount of tax collected to the total of GDP. Okay, next, tax buoyancy. Tax buoyancy is nothing but it is measure of growth in tax revenues with compared to the GDP growth rate. Okay, if tax buoyancy is greater than 1, then it means the tax revenues are increasing. So if you look at into this collection, I mean which which one is the highest? GST is highest of 28%, and next personal income tax and corporate tax both are equal, 26%. So this corporate tax and personal income tax both comes under direct tax. Okay, next union excise duty, customs duty. So if we look at this, which is the highest or something, then it goes like this. First one is GST. First is GST, and then income tax and corporate tax both are equal, then excise duties, and then customs. So what are the new tax tracking features that were introduced by the finance ministry, which helped in broadening the tax base? So statement on financial transactions. So it is nothing but a new data sources that they have introduced, like GSTN or something like that, and also new tax deductions at source. TDS codes, tax deduction at source codes were also introduced. One is SFT and other is TDS codes. And related to the Vijay Kelkar committee report, Vijay Kelkar committee report gave on direct taxes. Okay, the reforms were taken up. So yeah, Supreme Court told that IT department cannot reopen complete assessments until or unless incriminating material is unearthed during search and seizure operations. So if there is any last year assessments or previous few years back assessment, so IT department cannot reopen them unless there is some hard evidence or that came through, which is demanding to open those assessments. Only the IT department can open. So that's it. And next, transfer pricing. Regarding transfer pricing, what were the steps taken? So Supreme Court set aside earlier Karnataka High Court's ruling that arm's length price by the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal is final and cannot be subjected to judicial scrutiny. So this arm's length price, ALP, okay, arm's length price, whichever is decided by the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, is final and it cannot be subject to judicial scrutiny. Earlier it was like that, but now what the court rule is, no, it can also be considered as unjust in some cases where there can be few cases, okay, where it can also be considered as an unjust, and then in that cases the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal's decisions of regarding that particular matter is not final. Okay, what is this Income Tax Appellate Tribunal? Income Tax Appellate Tribunal is nothing but it is a quasi-judicial body which is set up in 1941, and it deals with the, IT means nothing but direct taxes, right? So it comes under the Direct Tax Acts. Appeals, whatever it is regarding Direct Tax Acts, there can be filed to Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. So the orders passed by the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal are final, and an appeal lies to the High Court only if there is a substantial question of law arises. Okay, and it is having as of now 63 benches. That's it. And next one is transfer pricing. Transfer pricing is nothing but reducing the tax burden of a parent company. If, for example, if there is a company A, it is a parent company, okay, it is present in some other country, and it is having subsidiaries B and C, okay. If in country B, if there are more number of taxes, and if in C country the tax rates are very less, so what the company do is, so it will transfer most of its profits to this this company, and they'll show that these so thereby the tax burden is it is shifting from one country to another country, okay. This is nothing but transfer pricing. So arm's length price is nothing but it was decided by all OECD member countries. It means the price that a company pays to purchase of goods and services from a related company entity should be the same as if the two entities were unrelated, okay. So like if there is a company in USA and the other company in Netherlands, so it is nothing but a fair value price, okay. That is nothing but arm's length price. So advanced pricing agreement. Advanced pricing agreement is recently Central Board of Direct Taxes created a milestone by entering into highest ever advanced pricing agreements in a year. So what is an advanced pricing agreement? See, for example, there is a taxpayer. Okay, he has to pay tax, and there is also tax authority. Okay, now um, there is some amount which he didn't pay for tax for. So what the taxpayer and this tax authority do is they'll come to an agreement. Okay, I'll pay you this amount, but just okay, at this tax rate, and also this at this method. Okay, so this is nothing but called as advanced pricing agreement, so thereby increasing the tax incidence also. Next, city financing ranking. City financing ranking was released by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. It uh, under this, the urban local bodies are evaluated under three parameters, that is resource mobilization, expenditure performance, and fiscal governance. Okay, the top three cities are rewarded. That's it. And next one, cost inflation index. Cost inflation index is released by the income tax department under the income tax act 1961, and this cost inflation index is released every year, and it is used to calculate the index cost of acquisition while calculating the capital gains. Okay, so now considering what is long term capital gains and short term capital gains. Long term capital gains is that which is accrued over 3 years, more than 3 years, then that will be considered as long term capital gains. So that's it. You just have to remember, see, these details are not much important. You just need to remember only few things like city financing in ranking. So it was released by MOHUA, okay, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and cost inflation index by income tax department. Those are enough. Next, and also these few things like, okay, for to be considered as a long term capital gains, then it should be of minimum 3 years. Next, banking asset quality restructuring and monetary policy. Regarding the banking, so markets in crypto assets, MiCA. So this markets in crypto assets regarding legislation was brought by European Parliament recently. So this is the first set of regulations in the world brought for crypto assessment service providers, and also for the consumer protection. So this MiCA, markets in crypto assets regulations, are applicable to the service providers and also for the consumer protection, and this applicable across the EU, and there is no need of any national implementation for this legislation. Okay, and so this MiCA focuses on crypto assets, but it does not apply to few non-fungible taxes or decentralized finance or central bank digital currencies. So for these MiCA regulations are not applicable. So these are not applicable to NFTs, DeFi, and CBDC. So this MiCA distinguishes crypto assets into three types. One is EMTs, ARTs, and UTs. EMTs are nothing but electronic money tokens, asset reference tokens, and utility tokens. Okay, so categorization of the crypto assets by MiCA is electronic money tokens, and asset reference tokens, and utility tokens. Next, so what are the crypto assets? They are electronically stored and distributed using a ledger technology or similar technology. Okay, that's it. And crypto assets regulations in India. Earlier, the RBI held that crypto holding is illegal, but later Supreme Court interfered and said this ban by RBI is not correct. And then later in 2022, in budget, the finance ministry introduced 30% tax on income earned through the transfer of the virtual asset. And in 2023 budget, it also brought virtual digital assets under the purview of the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Next, bank run. Bank run recently Silicon Valley Bank, which is the largest bank in the USA, experienced it. What is a bank run means? All the members of the whoever deposited in the bank, they take out their money due to some fear that something might go wrong and of the bank business. So they take off all their money. So this is nothing but called as a bank run. And then zombie bank. Zombie bank is nothing but, see, these banks survive on borrowing. They take money from one person and they lend it that money to another person. So they don't have any particular what do we call sources of money, or reserves. Okay, so they hide their bad loans. It's kind of like forbearance lending. Forbearance lending is nothing but they take from one person and they'll give it to another person, otherwise they don't have any reserves. Next, liberalized remittance scheme. Liberalized remittance scheme is nothing but, so LRS scheme was introduced by the RBI in the year 2004. Under this, an individual can send a maximum of $250,000 to foreign country in a year. Okay, under under LRS scheme, if you want to send money to foreign countries, okay, to remit to foreign country, someone in the foreign country, it is through this LRS scheme. So up to maximum of $250,000 per year. And there are also conditions like this money sent cannot be this sending method is not available to corporations, partnership firms, and Hindu undivided families and trusts. Okay, and recently what the RBI gave direction is, if that sent money is remains unutilized for more than 180 days, then that should be sent back to India. Sticky inflation. Sticky inflation is nothing but it is taking longer time than expected to fall. Inflation, for example, the inflation shot up, okay, and it is taking much. Usually, after this increase, it has to fall back, right? Due to some situations, like for example, during COVID, we experienced high inflation, right? But if it is taking much time to fall back, then that is called as a sticky inflation. Next, payment systems and financial markets. Recently, the regulations by SEBI initiated a series of reforms. What are the reforms initiated by the SEBI? Okay, SEBI, you all know, I think you all know, it is a statutory body, made statutory body in the year 1992. So yeah, it is a regulatory body of the secondary market. So what are the reforms? The reforms introduced by the SEBI are ASBA, application supported blocked amount. Like application supported block amount is nothing but it is a facility for blocking of the funds for trading through UPI. Okay, and it is optional only. If someone needs to block their funds, then they can go through this. And then next one is for fraud prevention. It made some amendments to the stockbroker regulations of 1992. Okay, and it also gave regulations for online dispute resolution mechanism. It also extended the market infrastructure institution administered conciliation and arbitration. That is nothing but ODR, like dispute resolution mechanisms, which we also call as alternate dispute resolution mechanisms, like arbitration, conciliation, like those. So yeah, so these were the things, reforms introduced. And also for strengthening of the secondary market, investors, what the reforms were introduced were like, investors exchange with each other rather than with issuing entity. Next one, also what are the reforms, other still more reforms introduced by SEBI are CDMDF. CDMDF means corporate debt management development fund. Corporate debt management development fund is nothing but an alternate investment fund. Okay, it was made as an alternate investment fund. And also a backstop facility, which is a short-term lending arrangement, was also made available. And also National Credit Guarantee Trust Company may also raise funds for the purchase of the corporate debt securities during market dislocation. So timely disclosures to empower shareholders, like information sharing. Next, general information disclosure and key information disclosure. General information disclosure is for those stock exchanges at the time of the first time in issuance, like IPO. And key information documents is nothing but for subsequent private placements. Okay, follow-up issues. Next, ESG. ESG is nothing but environmental, social, and governance. So it is a governance reform. Okay, recently BRSR report, okay, business responsibility and sustainability report code was also introduced. And ESG rating providers, there for ESG there are also ESG rating providers. Okay, ESG rating providers also for them also the rules were released. And this core ESG rating Okay, separate categories also mentioned. Next, based, I mean, see, if you want to invest in a company, you look at the rating of that company, right? So it is kind of that governance rating. Okay, this is ESG rating, that's it. For to prevent what? To prevent greenwashing and also to prevent mis-selling. Next, regulatory framework for index providers. Regulatory framework for index providers, like calculation of the market indices, etc. What are the index providers as of now present in our country? Some of them are like NSE, National Stock Exchange, Asia India Private Limited, something like that. So yeah, so regulatory framework for index providers, it also released that. So like they should have an oversight committee, and to manage conflicts of interest, they should manage the conflicts of interest also. And this is in adherence with the IOSCO, International Organization on Securities Commission's principles, which is assessed for every 2 years. Next, key terms and concepts in the payment systems and financial markets. Interchange fee on UPI transactions. Okay, like earlier we know merchant discount rate, right? Merchant discount rate was introduced by the RBI earlier, where if you go to some shop and if you want to use your card for payment, okay, if that shop is accepting your card and it is also accepting the transaction, so what happens is that shop has to pay some fee for accepting your transaction through card payment. So this is nothing but called as merchant discount rate. Okay, like similar to like that, interchange fee on UPI transactions was also introduced by the NPCI from April 1st 2023. So it has to be paid by the merchants bank, but keep in mind it is not for those, like it is not for peer-to-peer transactions, like if you and if I transact with you guys, so it is not chargeable. And it is also not based on bank account based UPI payments, and also peer to merchant transactions also not under it. Like if you go to some shop and if you use UPI payment for paying, even that is also that does not come under this interchange fee. Next, Mission Har Payment Digital. Mission Har Payment Digital is was launched by the RBI in the year 2023. It is an awareness program that aims to create 75 digital villages programs. Nothing but to increase the digital payment reach. Green deposits. Recently, RBI issued a framework for accepting of green deposits. What are these green deposits? Uh, Towards green finance. What is green finance? Nothing but towards those financing. I mean, green deposits are related to the green finance. What is green finance? Green finance is nothing but that finance which is used in green technologies, like say renewable energy or waste to wealth. Okay, something like that. For those investments, that is called as green finance. Okay, so what are the who can accept these green deposits? All scheduled commercial banks, including small finance banks, can accept it, but not regional rural banks, local area banks, and payment banks are not under it. SCBs and SFBs, but not RRBs, LABs, and payment banks. And also NBFCs, those are registered with the RBI, including housing finance companies, can also accept this. And these green deposits should be denominated only in India rupee only. Next, green shoe option. What is this green shoe option? Ministry of Finance recently decided to use this green shoe option regarding this sale of some Hindustan HAL. Sorry. So what is this green shoe option? Green shoe option is nothing but option to sell additional shares during an IPO. During an initial public offering, it is an option to sell more shares during an IPO in the primary market. Next, surety bonds. Recently, New India Assurance announced a launch of its surety bond. So what is a surety bond? It is nothing but a three-party contract. So for example, if person A, okay, person B, let us okay, not person A, person B, let us consider this as like this. If see, person A and bank, and there is also another entity, say some insuring entity or some surety bond provider agency. See, uh, if you have to go to bank and ask for some loan, okay, then what initially you do is you go to this insurance company or something, and then you will register it. So whenever you go and ask loan for this insurance company or this surety bond provider will provide a surety to the bank. Yes, my customer is credible only, you can give loans to him. Okay, see, it works like that. That is nothing but called as, this is nothing but called as a surety bond market. I mean, this three party whatever it is, I'm saying, sorry, three party contract is nothing but this surety bond. So surety bonds can be insurance banks, principal contractor, something like that, but it cannot be a bank guarantee, and it is not an insurance policy. Next, Chinese wall policy. Chinese wall policy is, recently SEBI amended some rules governing stock exchange to follow Chinese wall policy. What is Chinese wall policy is, it is a virtual information barrier, okay, erected between those who have material non-public information and those who see, to if you have some information, okay, and the other people don't have some information, so it is nothing but to create a barrier, okay, so thereby making a level playing field for everyone. Misuse of information, okay, to discourage the misuse of information, it is nothing but virtual wall, creation of this virtual wall. Next, dabba or box trading. Dabba or box trading is nothing but it's a type of an informal trading which takes place outside the stock exchange. Recently, NSE issued some notices to some entities which are involved in the dabba trade, and it is also recognized as an offense under the Security Contracts. So what is it? It is also recognized as an offense under the Security Contracts and Regulation Act 1956. Dabba trading is not legal. Next, short selling. Short selling is nothing but this is also very important. This is recently in news also. So what is this short selling? Short selling is nothing but a person, okay, invests or bets in some stocks, okay, in expecting that their price will fall in the future, okay. This is nothing but a short selling. So whenever their price falls, he'll sell all those things. So thereby he'll be selling at low price than what he purchased, so that in that he'll get the profit. Next, so that difference is considered as a profit. Next, foreign trade policy 2023. So recently, Union Ministry of the Commerce and Industry notified foreign trade policy. So foreign trade policy was released by Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So yeah, what is this? Earlier, the Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Act of 1992. Under it, it has to release the foreign trade policy for every 5 years, I guess. Wait, there is somewhere here. Yeah, but usually for every 5 years. Okay, let's just see. Yeah, for every 5 years. Okay, for every 5 years. Earlier it was 2015 to 2020, but it was extended till March 2023. Now, new foreign trade policy was also introduced. So let us look into this trade profile of the India. It is very, 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 very important. These can be asked as direct weights also sometimes, and also even in the options, like you can eliminate. It can be asked like this. So what is the exports target of India? So, or the statement can be given as India's export target by 2023 is $2 trillion for goods and services. Yes, that is correct. Instead of 2, they may ask you as $1 trillion also. Instead of 2030, they may say 2025. So you have to be clear in these figures. Just remember, okay, by 2030, $2 trillion is the target. And India's top export commodities. Export commodities are, these are also important: petroleum, electronic goods, rice, chemicals, and drugs and pharmaceuticals. India's top export destinations are USA, UAE, Netherlands, and China. Top import destinations are China, UAE, USA and Russia. First is China and first is USA here. Next, okay, so this new foreign trade policy is having 4 pillars. What are those 4 pillars? Incentives to tax remission, and also greater trade facilitation, export promotion, and also focus on some emerging areas like e-commerce, and developing districts as export hubs, streamlining of COVID policy, etc. So let us look into that. So last year India recorded $760 billion of trade, so recorded high export performance. So trade facilitation and ease of doing business. So these are 4 pillars I told you, right? Under this, one pillar is trade facilitation and ease of doing business. So for this, what the government did is it created a committee, national committee on trade facilitation. It is in line with the WTO's trade facilitation agreement. So this WTO's trade facilitation agreement came into force in 2017, and that issue and the main aim of that trade facilitation agreement is to curb the red taping across the borders. So NCTF, it is just that simple. See, look at here, NCTF was introduced in line with the trade facilitation agreement of WTO. This trade facilitation of agreement of WTO came into force in 2017, and that is to curb red tape. Okay, that's it. It is just that here. Next, so it also the Directorate General of Foreign Trade also introduced few initiatives. What are those few initiatives? Niryat Bandhu for mentoring of new and potential exporters. Mentoring, Niryat Bandhu is for mentoring. So this is also very important. Like, these are launched by who? Directorate General of the Trade Facilitation. DGFT launched Niryat Bandhu, EIEC, certification of certificate of origin, and online facility for quality control and trade disputes. So what is this? Niryat Bandhu is for mentoring of the new exports, and also next, issuance of EIEC, electronic importer exporter cards. Like, it is a 10-character alphanumeric number. See, like, as you see, it is an electronic importer exporter code. So it is mandatory for anyone to get into importing or exporting business, then they have to have this EIEC card. Next, EQ, certificate of origin. It is nothing but it is also a unique number, unique identification, document identification number, and for validation of few documents under this EQ. Next, for trade, online facility to file the quality control and trade disputes. You can file disputes on the online only. Next, also initiatives for trade facilitation at customs. For customs facilitation, what they did is e-Sanchit and e-Turant customs. E-Sanchit is nothing but for paperless clearances. Next, Turant customs is nothing but speed. Okay, the speed tracking of the clearance processes. Next, towns of export excellence, T. Towns of export excellences are nothing but for development and growth of export production centers. So T is for promotion of the export production centers, and in selected towns producing of 750 crore and more can be notified as a TEE. So what we need to remember is, first, this NCTF was also started, which is in line with the TFA of WTO to curb red taping, and DGFT initiatives are Niryat Bandhu for mentoring, and IEC is a 10-digit alpha character for those who is undertaking export or import activity, and then also EQ is for nothing but for certification verification, online facility to file the disputes, and also e-Sanchit and Turant customs is for customs department related facilitation. E-Sanchit is for paperless clearance, and Turant customs is for speedy processing of the clearances. Next, towns of export excellences. T is nothing but any area which is producing, any town which is producing worth of 750 crore or more, then that can be notified as T. Okay, and next, Next, rationalization of the criteria of status holder certification. So earlier the status holder certification criteria, whatever it was, it now it got reduced, okay, to improving the business facilitation of the, that what it said, trade facilitation. If there are more rules and more regulations, it becomes a tedious process. Next, export from another pillar is export promotion initiatives through foreign trade policy 2023. What are the export promotion initiatives introduced by the government? First is districts as export hubs initiative. Districts as export hub initiative. Under this, what the government did is, it created, what it did is, at state level, sorry, so districts as export promotions initiative. Under this, at state level, it introduced state export promotion committee, and at district level, it created districts export promotion committee. So DEPC and SCPC were introduced, and this districts export promotion committee, they have to create districts export promotion action plans. Export promotion action plans have to be created by them. Okay, so at state level, so it is nothing but for export promotion. Next, export promotion of the capital goods, EPCG scheme. Under this, to facilitate the import of the capital goods at zero customs duty. Okay, capital goods are nothing but those goods which are further used in the processing. Capital goods are nothing but also called as the basic goods. So yeah, those goods, import of few capital goods for producing quality goods and services, for that zero customs duty under EPCG scheme. And export promotion units. Export promotion units are under this scheme, what is the government setups export oriented units scheme, and export hardware technology park scheme, and software technology park scheme, biotechnology park schemes. So export promotion units, so these clusters of parks or something are created under this, which are focusing on some particular activity, like manufacturing activity, like for example say hardware technology, and few for software technology, and few for biomedical sciences or something, for promotion of the exports only. Next, deemed exports. Deemed exports are those goods which are supplied, those goods which supplied do not leave the country, and the payments for such supplies is received either in Indian exports or in free foreign exchange. Deemed exports are those in transactions in which goods is supplied. See, we are supplying goods to some other country, right? For example, those goods are not leaving our country, like within the country, if you say. So it is nothing but within the country, if you are trading like that, or exporting something like that, then there is no need to pay for those exports. Next, other initiatives by foreign trade policy. Under these other initiatives are Committee on Quality Complaints and Trade Disputes. Committee on Quality Complaints and Trade Disputes. Quality Complaints and Trade Disputes related. It is again initiated by DGFT. Okay, DGFT. So under this, it is to inquire into or investigate into all quality related complaints. But these are only complaints. Like complaints are which are raised by the customers or entities whoever involved in it, but these are not disputes between the two entities. Next, promotion of the cross-border trade. Promotion of the cross-border trade. So for promotion of the cross-border trade in digital economy, e-commerce exports, like under Niryat Bandhu scheme, like as we have seen, what is this Niryat Bandhu scheme? See, for mentoring of the new potential exporters. So for cross-border trading, like for example e-commerce exports, under this NBS component, they'll start workshops, outreach activities, okay, mentoring activities. Basically NBS is for mentoring. Next, e-commerce export hubs. Export hubs are nothing but to promote infrastructure and business facilities for the e-commerce activities. And next, promotion of the e-commerce activities through postal route, Daggar Niryat Kendras. So this is also another important, Daggar Niryat Kendras. So these Daggar Niryat Kendras are nothing but promotion of exports through postal route. Next, duty exemption and remission schemes. Advance authorization. Advance authorization is nothing but exemptions from paying customs, countervailing duties, etc. And duty-free import authorization. Duty-free import authorization is free if like exemption from the basic customs duty. This advance authorization is exemption from the customs and CVD. This DFIA is exemptions from the BCD only. And there are also other schemes like RODTP. RODTEP is nothing but remission of duties and taxes on the exported products. That is nothing but to refund the currently if you during the export process or during this export business or something, if you are asked to pay some duties, okay, some levies, some fines or something, then they those which are borne by an exporter are to be refunded by the government. So it was notified by the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it's administered by the Department of Revenue of the Ministry of Finance. Next, SCOMET. SCOMET is nothing but special chemicals, organisms, materials, equipments and technologies. So under this SCOMET, dual-use items. Dual-use items are nothing but those items which are used for civil purpose and also military purpose. So their export is also regulated. And India also maintains a SCOMET list. SCOMET list is nothing but India's national export control list, and those imported cannot be exported. Under this list, whatever it is mentioned, if they are imported by our country, and those cannot be exported, okay. And SCOMET items regulated. Under this SCOMET list, what are the items regulated are weapons of mass destruction, and next, imported goods are not permitted for the exporter. So you can see here, this is the list of the SCOMET, like SCOMET items, SCOMET category, whatever they are allowed and not, and under which department they comes under. Okay. Next, key terms and concepts in the external sector. Amnesty scheme. Recently, Ministry of Commerce stated that those cases which are under investigation for fraud and misdeclaration of the capital goods will be excluded from the coverage of the amnesty scheme. So this amnesty scheme was also announced under the foreign trade policy. So it is nothing but it is a one-time settlement of the default of the export obligations. See, for example, I am an exporter. If I have to pay some fees or something to the government, and then I have to process my business, if I didn't pay, okay, the fees whatever I have to pay, if I evade those fees, then this is nothing but a one time settlement for me, like government giving me a chance. Amnesty scheme, under it, government giving me a chance to pay all the dues that I have to pay, okay. Now it excluded those under fraud and those under misdeclaration of the capital goods. These categories are now excluded under the amnesty scheme. See, when I have to pay at once a one time settlement, I don't need to pay any interest also. So it is nothing but an amnesty scheme. Next, WTO dispute settlement system. WTO dispute settlement system. Recently, WTO panel observed that India had violated these global trading rules. So what is this WTO dispute settlement system? This WTO dispute settlement system came into force on January 1st, 1995. Under it, there are two main ways to settle a dispute. First is to mutually agree. Like it is nothing but forms of alternate dispute resolution. And the second one is through adjudication. Through adjudication, like you can see the WTO's dispute settlement process, consultations between the parties, adjudication by the panels, and then implementation of the rule. Next, investment facilitation agreement. Investment facilitation agreement is nothing but it was launched in 2017 by a group of developing and least developed countries of the WTO. So in WTO, those who are developing and those who are least developed countries parties, they have organized this investment facilitation agreement. It is nothing but and these countries, like nearly more than 100 countries are members of this investment facilitation agreement, and the purpose is to create a legal binding provisions to facilitate investment flows, and India is not party of this investment facilitation agreement. Next, Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable. Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable is nothing but it is to create a common understanding between the members, okay, and Usually it is co-chaired by the IMF, World Bank, and also G20 presidency. G20 presidency as of now is India only, right? And it also consists of the members of the Paris Club and also the private creditors, borrowing countries are also. Recently, what this GSDR, Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable, has agreed is to improve information sharing, including the macroeconomic projections. Okay, information sharing mechanisms need to be improved. They agreed upon that. Labor and employment, gig economy. Recently, Blinkit delivery agents went on a strike. So, what is this gig economy? This gig economy is nothing but free market system under which temporary positions, they are not permanent, right? And they, for example, this is a worker, gig worker, and this is a company which is provided. For example, say Zomato, if we say, okay. So they come into a contract, okay, contract, and they work. So this is not a permanent job, and contract with the independent workers for short term engagements. So gig workers can be broadly classified into two types: platform gig workers and non-platform. Platform gig workers are online based, non-platform are nothing but usually casual waged outsiders. Next, part-time jobs, something, but not online, offline. So the protests are primarily happening in the dark stores. Dark stores are nothing but whatever the inventories that, for example, say Blinkit only here. Okay, they have all these inventories and everything stored in a place, right? So those stores are nothing but called as dark stores. So gig economy status in India is 77 lakh people are working in gig economy in our country, and highest in retail, trade, and sales sector. And gig workforce, most of them, nearly 50% are, 47% are medium skill jobs only. Next, key terms and concepts in the labor and employment. Captive employment. Captive employment is nothing but, see, captive employer. So recently what the news is about is Ministry of Rural Development has initiated captive employment under the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushalya Yojana. So under this, so Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushalya Yojana, under this national, this is under National Rural Livelihoods Mission program, under this Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushalya Vikas Yojana. So under this, Ministry of Rural Development initiated captive employment. Captive employment is nothing but there will be captive employer provides employment. Captive employer provides employment to the candidates. Captive employer is nothing but that employer having providing employment in his own organization, either in his own organization or his subsidiaries. Okay, if I recruit, okay, if I am an employer and if I recruit someone into my own organization or my organization subsidiaries, whatever it is, so they are called, I am a captive employer. So this is nothing but called as a captive employment. So they recruit for employing in their companies. Next, innovation, skill development, and entrepreneurship. Startup funding ecosystem. Startup funding ecosystem, what the recent news is about, the startup funding has significantly reduced recently. So startup funding ecosystem, usually what are the reasons? Global inflation, and also usually startups are heavily reliant on the foreign capital, right? So global inflation, due to that reason the startup funding got decreased. So stand up India scheme, it's been 7 years since the introduction of that scheme. So stand up India scheme was introduced in the year 2016 under the Ministry of Finance. This is important, stand up India scheme. So this is for the underprivileged sections like SC, ST, and women. Okay, the vulnerable people, not underprivileged, vulnerable sections, SC, ST, and the women. For them, opportunities are to be created for job employment, entrepreneurship, to promote the entrepreneurship. So recently, so the scheme extended up to 2025. Okay, usually it was only for 5 years, but it got extended now till 2025, and the objective is for provide entrepreneurship for SCs, STs, and women. So under it, what they what the encouragement given to these sections is, they will be given bank loans for of rupees 10 sorry 10 lakhs to 100 lakhs. That means 10 lakhs to 100 until 1 crore loans are to be given. Okay, and eligibility criteria should be minimum of 80 years or age, and whatever the loans they have taken, they should invest in the greenfield projects, and thereby promoting manufacturing or new companies. Okay, and there is also a condition for the banks, scheduled commercial banks, whoever give these loans to the SCs or STs or women. There is a condition or requirement that at least one SC or ST and at least one women borrower per branch should be there under Stand Up India scheme. Okay, and they're also having an overdraft facility of 10 lakhs. Okay, overdraft facility is nothing but, for example, see, if I am having a bank account and in my account there are only 1,000 rupees. Okay, for suppose only 1,000 rupees are there, and I can withdraw only when up to 1,000 rupees, right? But this overdraft facility of, for example, say my bank is providing an overdraft facility of 100 rupees. So it means even after I completely withdrew my 1,000 rupees also, I can withdraw up to 100 rupees also. So this is nothing but providing extra amount to me by the bank. That is nothing but called as an overdraft facility. Evergreening facility. Evergreen. So this evergreening is nothing but, usually see, if what a company, pharmaceutical companies or whatever intellectual property rights owners, whoever registrations, what they do is, see that let for example, here it is given as Indian Patent Act. Let us consider this example only. Patent, if for example company A, for example a pharmaceutical company A created a drug. Okay, created a drug and it registered for the patent, and that patent is usually applicable or valid for only 20 years. But after the 20 years, what this company, pharma company, do is, it will make some minor changes in this drug. Okay, either minor changes which are not that much significant in improving the efficiency of the drug. So by making some minor changes, what the company do is, it will again apply for the patent. So this is nothing but, thereby again after 20 years, what it will do is, again it will apply, make some minor changes, and it will again apply for patent for again 20 years. So thereby increasing it life. So this is nothing but called as evergreen, which is usually not encouraged. Okay, because see, if that company is holding the patent for long time, what happens, this the formulations or whatever it is using, it the for example, say the medicine that it has prepared, so the technology it used in preparation of that medicine remains as a secret. So it will not be useful for delivering that medicine for a larger public benefit, for the larger public welfare, or for poor people welfare, right? So that is the reason. Recently, Johnson & Johnson company attempted for this evergreening for extending its bedaquiline life-saving TB drug. Okay, for that. So that's it. So India rejected this evergreen. Next, agriculture. Regarding agriculture sector, PACS, Primary Agriculture Credit Societies. Recently, Cabinet cleared a plan to set up 2 lakh PACS in the next 5 years. So, Primary Agriculture Credit Societies. So, under this, see, this is a credit structure, cooperative credit structure of short-term credit and long-term credit. See, if this is a short-term credit, let me use this. This is the short-term credit and this is the long-term credit. Under this short-term credit, what are the entities present are state or central cooperative bank, district or central cooperative bank, district central cooperative bank, and primary agriculture credit societies. And recently the government proposed to set up these for next 5 years. Nearly 2 lakh to be set up for the next 5 years. This is the government's proposal. And for long term credit, what are the institutions present are SCAR-DBs and PCRDBs. Okay, so next, that's it. So this primary, usually this state or central cooperative banks and district central cooperative banks, for these the finance is provided by the RBI, but for PACs the finance is provided by the NABARD. Next, Sathi portal. Sathi portal was recently launched by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and the Sathi portal full form is Seed Traceability, Authentication and Holistic Inventory Portal. Seed Traceability, Authentication and Holistic Inventory Portal. It was launched by, sorry, there is a mistake. Wait a second. Sathi. So Sathi portal was launched by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And what does this do? So it is nothing but a centralized online system. Mobile app also launched, and it has been developed by the NIC in collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare under the theme of Uttam Beej Samrid Kisan. So what is this? What will it do? It consists of the integrated 7 verticals of the seed chain. Okay, and seed certification and all those things, making licensed dealers validity, okay, and providing quality seeds to farmers. These are the aims of this Sathi portal. And usually in our country, seed certification is voluntary, whereas seed labeling is mandatory. Okay, IPR under related to intellectual property rights under agriculture sector, Indian Patent Act 1970 provides that patents for agriculture tools and machinery processes, by PPV and FR Act, Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers Rights Act of 2000 provides rights to farmers who developed or bred a new variety. Okay, and that's it. So these are the protections present in the form of IPRs in the agriculture sector. And open sourced seed movements. Open source seeds, nothing but those seeds which are owned by the individuals or corporations, and providing new varieties with an open source license. Okay, that is nothing but others. Open source seeds movement. Recently there is a demand to sell seeds with open source license. Next, price of tops are nothing but tomato, onion and potato. So this top is nothing but it was introduced under, see here, Operation Greens. Under Operation Greens, top was introduced, and it was made as total in the year 2022 by extending to all fruits and vegetables. So about the price, India is the largest 3 largest cultivated and produced and consumed vegetables in India are tops. Okay, and India is the second largest producer of all these 3 vegetables. And you can also see the climatic conditions and the growth conditions required for the tops. So for tomato, ideal condition temperature is 21 to 24 degrees, onion is 13 to 25 degrees centigrade, and potato is 20 to 24 degrees centigrade. And ideal rainfall is for potato minimum 120 to 200 centimeters, and for onion it is 65 to 75 centimeters, and for tomato is 60 to 150 centimeters is required. And they can be grown, tomatoes are grown during the winter, usually December, and also in summer in the month after, during the rainy season. And also onions are in the month of November and also in the month of May. Potatoes January to February, and also in October to November. And leading producers of the tomato are Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka, and that of onion are Maharashtra, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, and that of potato are Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. So yeah, if you go to UP or Bihar, those areas, most of the staple food is potato. Next, production challenges for these crops are seasonality and also erratic weather, And there are also inadequate storage facilities and disparity in storage facilities, like nearly 60% of the storage capacity cold storage is concentrated in these three states only: UP, Bihar and West Bengal. And there are also some administrative issues in credit, institution of credit, okay, all those things. And grams is nothing but a rural hearth, where the farmer can directly sell their produce. And MIDH means mission for the integrated development of the horticulture, okay. And next, agriculture marketing infrastructure for rural godowns. And next, price stabilization fund to undertake market intervention operations, like for example, if the price goes very low or very high, then market intervention operations can be taken by the state government agencies or central government agencies. Next, aquaculture sector, usually this aquaculture sector can be classified into subcategorized as coastal aquaculture and freshwater aquaculture. And in India, recently what the government did is it introduced Coastal Aquaculture Authority Amendment Bill 2023. So regarding Coastal Aquaculture Authority, so Coastal Aquaculture Authority Act was introduced in 2005. And so this new bill amends this act, and it also decriminalizes certain offences which were earlier criminalized under the Coastal Aquaculture Authority Act of 2005. So this 2005 Act established Coastal Aquaculture Authority, and it is nothing but a statutory body, and it consists of 11 members, including a chairperson who has been a judge of High Court, who is or has been retired or present High Court judge. And scope is nothing but like this act is applicable to beyond coastal aquaculture farms to cover all verticals and activities. And it prohibits coastal aquaculture activities in eco-sensitive zones, no development zones, and also coastal regulatory zones. So recently changes made to Coastal Aquaculture Authority are composition of the CAA. So it adds a representative of the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying as a member. Okay, new member is added under the Coastal Aquaculture Authority, who is a representative of the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and the Dairying. Decriminalization, we also just now we have seen that it has decriminalized a few offenses, right? So what are those decriminalized? Like it replaces them with monetary and other penalties. Adjudication and appeals is authorized. Government may authorize an officer of at least under secretary level, okay, to adjudicate penalties. So for penalties and all those, the government a government officer with at least of under secretary level is responsible, okay, is in charge of that. Next, key terms and concepts in agriculture. Excuse me. Key terms and concepts in agriculture. Basic Animal Husbandry Statistics 2022. Basic Animal Husbandry Statistics were released by whom? Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy. Under this, 4 major livestock products in India are milk, egg, meat and wool. That's it. CRISP is nothing but a comprehensive rubber information system platform. So just by reading it, its acronym, Comprehensive Rubber Information System Platform, is nothing but it must be related to some rubber board, right? So rubber board launched this mobile app. It is nothing but for providing information, okay. Farmers will now be able to receive recommendations from this Rubber Research Institute of okay. Next, Annual Pandemic Preparedness Initiative includes disease surveillance and monitoring, okay. After the COVID-19, this has been strengthened. It also creates disease modeling algorithms and also strengthening of the regulatory system, for example Nandi online portal and field trial guidelines. And World Bank funded Animal Health System Support for One Health, AHSSOH. So it is nothing but in line with the One Health approach, and it will be implemented for over 5 years. It is a central sector scheme, and it consists of 5 states initially as of now. What are those 5 states? Assam, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Next, canalization. Canalization is nothing but import or export through government agencies. So center has extended the tenure of the Indian Potash Limited, okay, as a canalizing agency for import of the urea. So in India, urea is imported by whom? Okay, the government imports, but which organization or which institution is responsible for that? India Potash Limited. Okay, it is responsible for that import. This import is nothing but called as canalizing. This IPL is nothing but supported by the government, right? It's a government body. Next, DigiClaim. DigiClaim is nothing but it is National Crop Insurance Portal's digital claim settlement module under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So Pradhan Mantri Fasal PM FBY's digitalized claim settlement portal is nothing but called as a digital claim. So under this PM FBY, what it provides is a crop insurance, like crop insurance against the non-preventable natural risks, and the premium rate is different for different crops. For example, for kharif crops it is 2%, and for rabi crops it is 1.5%, and it is 5% for horticulture and commercial crops. This can be asked in the options in the question, like, see, the premium rate is similar for all the crops irrespective of the season. That is false. See, for kharif it is 2%, for rabi is 1.5%, and for horticulture and commercial crops it is 5%. Next, National Agricultural Higher Education Project. National Agricultural Higher Education Project is nothing but it is initiative of the ICAR, World Bank, and National Agriculture Higher Education Project. So recently this NAHEP held a conference. Under this conference, a Delhi declaration was signed by ICAR and World Bank. So it is nothing but to strengthen agriculture education ecosystem. That's it. And this NAHEP is a 5-year project initiated in 2018 by the World Bank and the central government. And this ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, is its headquarters are at New Delhi, and it is an autonomous organization. Next, International Fund for Agricultural Development. International Fund for Agriculture Development and Japan. Okay, this International Fund for Agriculture Development is nothing but an international financial institution, which is a specialized UN agency, and it is one of the major outcome of the 1974 World Food Conference, and it has 177 members, including India. It is nothing but it invests. It is nothing but to promote food security in the rural areas. So recently, this IFAD and Japan, they launched ELPS. Okay, it is nothing but a new framework for facilitation of the cooperation of the small agricultural producers in developing nations, and also in Japan. Next, Pashudan Jagriti Abhiyan. Pashudan Jagriti Abhiyan. See, Pashudan is nothing but it should be related to Ministry or Department of the Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. So it is nothing but launched by the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, and it is to increase milk and cattle productivity in aspirational districts. Okay, aspirational districts. Next, industry. Vehicle scrappage. Recently Center has allocated 3,000 crores for scrapping of old vehicles under the scheme for special assistance to states for a capital investment. Okay, so what is this vehicle scrapping policy? Vehicle scrapping policy, under this, end of life vehicles are to be eliminated. So usually its objectives are of threefold: reduction of the on-road emissions and transition to better standard vehicles, and also close monitoring of the in-use vehicle fleet. How do they close monitor is nothing but through different programs, like for example voluntary vehicle fleet modernization program or vehicle scrapping policy of 2021. Let us get straight into this. So what are the incentives or disincentives provided under the vehicle scrappage policy? See, for example, this voluntary vehicle fleet modernization program, under this a fitness test is made. This fitness test is mandatory, and for those private vehicles which are older than 20 years, and for commercial vehicles which are older than 50 years. Okay, private vehicles which are older than 20 years and commercial vehicles which are older than 15 years, for these vehicles the fitness test is mandatory. If under this fitness test, if it passes, then it's okay, well and good. If it fails, then those vehicles should be scrapped. Okay, so under this the incentives given are like scrap value for the old vehicle which is being scrapped, and approximately of 4 to 6% of the expiring price of the new vehicle will be given. And also the state governments also provide concessions on the motor vehicle tax, like for example 25% for non-transport vehicles, and also 15% for the transport vehicles. Concessions, motor vehicle tax concessions given by the state governments. And also registration fee, if you are purchasing new vehicle, then the registration fee will also be waived off, but if you provide the certificate, scrapping vehicle scrapped certificate. And also auto OEMs have also been advised to provide 5% discount on purchase of the new vehicle. So if you have scrapped your vehicle and you are purchasing new vehicle, then you will be given some certificate, so where you will be given some concessions and also discounts, and also registration fee waiving off. Next, disincentives are like usually what are the disincentives, or you can also call as the drawbacks of this vehicle scrappage policy. What is these drawbacks? Usually the re-registration fees has been increased, and also the fitness test fee is also increased. Next, e-pharmacy sector. Recently, a show cause notice was issued by the CDSCO to all e-pharmacy companies, highlighting the concerns of the legitimacy of their operations. Yes, recently, actually, even I'm concerned about this. Whenever nowadays we are purchasing online only, right? Like different platforms are there which are providing medicines, and also at different discounts. Okay, there is a competition between different platforms, also online platforms. So what the CDSCO did is it gave a show cause notice to all these e-pharmacy companies. So about draft e-pharmacy rules of 2018, what is an e-pharmacy is nothing but selling of the goods or the stock through web portal or any other electronic mode. Privacy, the information of the patients or the customers should not be disclosed. Privacy should be followed, and the registration it should be registered to the central licensing authority, and it should be also adhere to the provisions of the ID Act 2000. And its premises, whatever the e-pharmacy is having, its premises should be inspected for every 2 years, and there should be no advertisement on e-pharmacy. So about e-pharmacy sector, it is a rapidly growing. Okay, nowadays we are seeing it very much, even in ads and also everywhere. So what are the different types of e-pharmacy models present? One is inventory based and marketplace based, and the other is generic e-commerce marketplace. So what is inventory based? Inventory based is nothing but, like for example, if there is a platform, for example, say platform A, a mobile app, say A. Okay, if it is having a stock, okay, it is having an inventory, okay, then stock of the medicines, then that is nothing but called as and it is selling those medicines from its inventories or from its stocks or from its godowns, then these are nothing but called as inventory based model e-pharmacy platforms. Whereas marketplace based model e-pharmacy is nothing but they just act as a facilitator. Okay, see this there is some licensed pharmacy and there is some consumer, and these just act as a mediator only. Okay, and generic e-commerce marketplace are also there. These are nothing but digital establishments where they provide a wide range of pharmaceuticals. Okay, I mean these inventory based model e-pharmacy and marketplace based model e-pharmacy are nothing but they are primarily into the pharmacy. Okay, pharmacy selling of the pharmacy products. But whereas these generic e-commerce platforms are, they sell other products also, other products including pharmacy products. like for example Flipkart and Amazon. Okay. Next, National Institutes of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, NIPERS. So it is nothing but it is an autonomous body under Department of Pharmaceuticals and Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Okay. Recently, it has been declared as an Institute of National Importance. Institute of National Importance by an Act of Parliament. Okay, that's it. Next, National Devices Policy of 2023. So Cabinet approved a new policy, National Medical Devices Policy of 2023. So what is this aim is to make a global leader in manufacturing of the medical devices by over the next 25 years, and it also helped the medical sectors to grow up to 11 billion, from 11 billion dollars to 15 billion dollars, 11 billion dollars to 50 billion, 50 billion dollars by 2030. So over the next 25 years, India should become a global leader, and by 2030, it should be increased to $50 billion. Sector should be increased to $50 billion. And the salient features of the new medical devices policy is streamlining of the regulatory streamlining, like single window clearances. Okay, for those companies which are going to be set up relating to medical devices, and enabling infrastructure like medical devices park, and facilitation of the R&D and innovation centers of excellences, and plug and play infrastructures. Plug and play infrastructures is nothing but like government provides all the facilities, okay, whatever it is required. The companies just have to come right away and set up their companies. That's it, and use the infrastructure present over there set up by the government. Next, attracting the private investments and PPP and venture capitalists, and human resources development. Okay, like skilling, reskilling, and upskilling of the professionals, and brand positioning and awareness creation through export promotional council, and key terms and concepts in the industry. Recently, Threads is nothing but it is a platform which was it is a digital platform which was initiated by the RBI in 2014 for facilitation of the MSMEs. Only MSMEs can participate as sellers in the Threads. Threads is nothing but as an online platform. Consider it as like another version of the Amazon, but where this Threads is initiated by the RBI, but the sellers of this Threads platforms are usually, like I'll show you a diagram. This is Threads platform, and these are sellers. Okay, and these sellers usually are MSMEs. Not usually, these are only for facilitating of the MSME products only. Okay, and the buyers can be corporates, government departments, and public sector undertakers, and financiers are banks and NBFCs. So recently financed around Threads platform financed around 35,000 factory units monthly. Next, KGF, Kolar Goldfields. Kolar Goldfields, nothing but okay, this is present in Karnataka. It is one of the world's deepest gold mines, and it traces its history to the Chola dynasty, and it is estimated to be about 80 kilometer long and 3 to 4 kilometer wide. Okay, so this Australian company, Australian renewable energy company, unique scheme to generate electricity may. Okay. So there are talks that this is to be reopened. That's it. Next, Smart Cities Mission. Smart Cities Mission, it is launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and it is informed that nearly 86% of the funds are being utilized. So it is good thing, and 69% of the projects were completed. So this Smart Cities Mission is launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and it is a central sponsored scheme, and it is launched in 2015, and under this nearly 86% of funds are being utilized, and 69% of the projects were completed, and 100 cities have been selected to be developed as a smart cities under this Smart Cities Mission. 100 cities were selected, and it comprises of the three models: city improvement, city renewal, and city extension. And it also created under this Cities Mission, a special purpose vehicle should be created, where the stakeholding of the state and urban local body should be in the ratio of 50:50, and the special purpose vehicle should be registered as a company under Companies Act 2013. That's it. Key terms and concepts related to the infrastructure. Infrastructure finance company. Finance company. Recently, so what is an infrastructure finance company? Is that company which is having a minimum net worth of 300 crore and a minimum credit rating of A or equivalent. So recently, RBI granted this IFC status to IREDA. So this IFC. So this infrastructure finance company status, infrastructure finance companies are companies which are having minimum 75% of those total assets in the infrastructure loans only. Next, ports and shipping. National Logistics Portal Marine. So National Logistics Portal Marine. Okay, this was a portal launched by the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, and under this National Logistics Portal Marine, Sagar Setu mobile app was launched. It is nothing but to exchange documents seamlessly and to transact business between the importers, exporters, and also the service providers. Civil Aviation, Digi Yatra. Recently, Ministry of Civil Aviation confirmed that there is a news, right, that it is going to implement facial recognition technology (FRT), but it said that this FRT is voluntary, okay, for citizens, and the data collected is not stored, okay, thereby protection of the privacy of the individuals. So it is saying like that there is no central storage of the personal details of the passengers. Next, Chenab Railway Bridge. Chenab Railway Bridge is nothing but it's the world's highest railway bridge in India, which is to be operational by the 2024, and okay, the bridge is it connects Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India, and it is usually 35 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower, and that's it. It is built over Anji River, which is a tributary of Chenab. Next, Dakar Declaration. Dakar Declaration is adopted by 21 African countries regarding to road safety. So it is in support of the implementation of the Decade for Action of the Road Safety 2021-2030. Under this, near at least 50% of the road traffic deaths should be prevented by 2030. So this Dakar Declaration was adopted by the 21 African countries in line with the Decade for Action of the Road Safety. 50% of reduction of the road traffic deaths. That's it. Kochi Water Metro. Kochi Water Metro, it is the recently India's first water metro was launched. So this Kochi Water Metro, it is an innovative, sustainable mode of transportation, and these boats use the lithium titanate oxide batteries. So LTO batteries that can be charged in just 15 minutes only, and other such inland water transport services present in India: roll-off ferry services, RoPax services, and river cruise services. For example, world's longest river cruise Ganga Vilas across 27 river systems and 5 states in India and Bangladesh. Next, power sector related news. So National Electricity Plan of 2022 to 2027, that is for 5 years. Recently, the draft National Electricity Plan was launched for the year 2022 to 2027 for 5 years. So this National Electricity Plan, it is given by who? It is given by Central Electricity Authority. Central Electricity Authority is a statutory body under Ministry of Power, which is created under the Electricity Act of 2003. Don't get confused with the BEE. I have written purposefully here BEE also, where BEE is created under the Energy Conservation Act of 2001, here under Electricity Act of 2003. So this National Electricity Plan should be created for every 5 years. Now the draft plan was also created by the Central Electricity Authority. So India's energy profile, if you have a look at it, nearly 51% of the energy comes from the coal, and if you look at into the renewable energy capacity, installed capacity in India, 34% is from solar and 26% is from wind. So if you arrange it in a ascending or descending order, here I have arranged it in a descending order. Solar occupies the highest, and then large hydro, and then wind, and then biomass, and then small hydro. This is important if where statements can be given like that. So like for example, they say large hydro occupies the highest share in renewable energy installed capacity. That is wrong. Solar occupies the highest share. Next, national gas grid. National gas grid, the Bihar portion of the Barauni to Guwahati pipeline. Barauni to Guwahati pipeline, which is uh, under this pipeline, the Bihar portion, whatever it was, completed recently. So what is this national gas grid? National gas grid is 33,764 kilometers long natural gas pipeline. Natural gas pipeline, which was under the purview of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. Okay, this national gas grid covers all other interconnected pipeline networks of the IOCL, ONGC, GAIL, etc. So the grid, when fully established, it provides an easy availability of the natural gas across the different regions of the country. Okay, now other measures to develop for national gas grid are Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga project of 2016. Under this, cooking gas pipelines were to be laid. Okay, and to connect to the eastern states. To the national gas grid, and northeast gas grid of 2020 to connect northeast 8 northeastern states to national gas grid, and city gas distribution network. It is under to cover 400 districts in 27 states. So it is to supply of 4 different segments like CNG for automobile usage, PNG for domestic usage, commercial usage, and also for the industrial usage. Next, revised gas pricing norms based on the recommendations of the Kirit Parekh committee. So these guidelines will be applicable to the gas produced from the nomination fields of the ONGC or OIL, and new exploration license policy of the and pre-NELP blocks. So it's nothing but gas pricing norms revised based on the Kirit Parekh committee. This is just enough. Okay, domestic gas pricing guidelines. Or under the old pricing system and the new pricing system, if you compare, the new pricing system would be 10% of the monthly average of the Indian crude basket, and the prices are to be notified monthly basis. Earlier it was only half yearly basis, and it consists of the floor and ceiling price, but there was no floor and ceiling prices. Also, new guidelines allow 20% premium over administered price mechanism for gas produced from new wells. There is no premium like that. Next, key terms and concepts related to the power sector: high price day ahead market, and surplus power portal launched. Push and HP dam portal were launched. So what are these portals? This was launched by the Ministry of the Power. Under this, ensure it provides availability of the power during the peak demand stage. So it also offers costly power from gas-based and imported coal-based power plants. Availability of the power is ensured. That's it. Through this portal by Ministry of Power. Smart metering. So smart metering. Recently, the Ministry of Power. So recently, the COAI recommended the Ministry of Power to use licensed spectrum bands for smart metering, smart grid meters, due to security concerns. Unlicensed spectrum is nothing but it is inexpensive and barrier free. But what the COA suggested is, please use the licensed spectrum bands so that security can be protected. So security can be ensured. Okay, smart meters are part of the advanced metering infrastructure solution, where the consumer's electricity usage at different times of the day is recorded and it can be sent to the energy supplier. Okay, next, so it is nothing but just remember only one thing: the COA recommended, please use this licensed spectrum bands. Okay, till now we are using unlicensed spectrum bands. Now try to use the licensed spectrum bands for smart metering. That's it. Nuclear liability. Recently, Electricité de France, so this is an institution, submitted its offer for construction of the 6 nuclear reactors in Maharashtra's Jaitapur. So France is to invest in 6 nuclear power reactors in Maharashtra's Jaitapur. However, issues regarding the India's Civil Liability and Nuclear Damage Act. Under this act, so India government is still holding the project. So under the laws of the civil nuclear liability, ensures that compensation is available for the victims of the nuclear damage. So it enacted this act in 2010 for speedy compensation mechanism, and however, India is going beyond this condition, introducing a concept of supplier liability above and that, where the suppliers of the nuclear equipment vary by operationalizing nuclear deals with India. So it's nothing but, yeah, France proposed investment in 6 nuclear power reactors in Maharashtra state, and issues regarding this this CLNDA Act, which was enacted in 2010 for speedy compensation of the mechanism, is still holding up the project. That's it. Next, key projects in the reports. Key reports in the news. Logistical Performance Index. Logistical Performance Index was released by the World Bank. According to this report, India's rank is 38th rank, and the first rank is Singapore, and it is based on the 6 dimensions of the trade, like including customs performance, infrastructure quality, and timeliness of the shipments. So regarding the logistics performance, this is one sector in which India still need to improve, logistics sector. Next, future of the jobs report. Future of the, similar to this index, in India, Ministry of Commerce releases another index that is called as Leads Index, which is released for once every 2 years by Ministry of Commerce. Next, this Logistical Performance Index by World Bank, rank is 38th. First is Singapore. That's it. These things need to be remembered. Future of the Jobs Report 2023, released by the World Economic Forums, under which is a biannual. Biannual means 2 times a year. Okay. Next, Global Trade Outlook and Statistics Report. Global Trade Outlook and Statistics Report was released by the World Trade Organization, and Business Environment Rankings (BER) was released by the Economist Intelligence Unit, under which Singapore ranked top, and it is across around it ranks 82 countries, under which Singapore ranked top. That's it. So just remember these things. Logistical Performance Index by World Bank, rank is 38th. Future of the Jobs Report is by World Economic Forum. Global Trade Outlook Report is by the World Trade Organization. Business Environment Rankings is by the Economist Intelligence Unit. That's it. Next, miscellaneous. Swayat is nothing but full form is Startups, Women and Youth Advantage through E-Transactions. It is nothing but an initiative of the government e-marketplace, which was Swayat is launched in 2019, where to promote various inclusiveness of various categories of the sellers. Okay, like government GEM portal is nothing but where different sellers can sell their produce, and the buyers should be from the government departments only. So in these sellers, these sections are promoted, like women, startups and youth are promoted through this Swayat initiative. Next, Miniratna Category Status 1. Miniratna Category Status 1 recently was given to Solar Energy Corporation of India. Solar Energy Corporation of India, Miniratna Category 1 status is given by whom? Miniratna Category status. Okay, this Solar Energy Corporation is central PSU under whom? Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Under this Miniratna Category status, what is the eligibility criteria? CPSs which have made a profit in the last 3 years continuously, pre-tax profit of 30 crores or more in at least one of the 3 years, and have a positive net worth are eligible. That's it. There is a Merata, but yeah, we just need to focus on this World Bank Group, which is very important. World Bank Group consists of how many? 5 institutions: IBRD, IDA, IFC, MIGA and ICSID, where India is not part of ICSID. And it is set up under Bretton Woods Conference. Outcomes of this conference is IMF, and other is World Bank Group. Hence, these are called as Bretton Woods, and it was set up in July 1944. So that's it. It's reports. Some of the important reports are Global Financial Development Report, World Development Reports, and Global Economic Prospects. Just now we have seen another report of the World Bank Group. What is it? Logistical Performance Index. And here, yeah, I've ended this economy section related current affairs. And yeah, hope. Thank you.